Thanks for staying with us right here on Sunrise as we continue this Tuesday morning. Now, Gauteng police have deployed more than 1,200 students, constables to the province to fight crime at shopping centres. This is a continuation of the Back to Basics campaign, which the police say was a success last festive season. Now, joining us this morning to talk about the festive season crime reduction campaign from Gauteng SAPS Corporate Communications is Brigadier Mathapelo Peters. Remember, you at home can be part of our discussion by leaving your comments on our Facebook and Twitter pages. We're also taking your calls on 011 447 1742 or 011 447 1620. Good morning to you, Brigadier, and thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning, Penny, and good morning to your viewers, and thanks for having me.
So let's talk about this program that you guys have come up with to deploy students, constables across the province. What informed this campaign?
When we started last year with the Safer Festive Season campaigns, we used student constables, over 1,000 of them, as part of our, to bolster our numbers, especially to heighten police visibility in places like your shopping malls where crime is normally rampant over the festive season. We realized that worked for us very well, and that is why we're continuing with the same approach this year.
So just to take us through what normally happens around the festive season when it comes to crime. Obviously there's a spike, but what are some of the areas of concern and the kind of crimes that we have to deal with?
In Gauteng alone, we've had problems over the past few months with contact crimes, and those are your murders, your assaults, and crime on the person. And as well that now we're approaching the 16 days of activism coupled with the Safer Festive Season approach. We know that festive season is traditionally characterized by shopping, lots of money, people carrying a lot of money. You find out people from Stockfells especially, people decide to withdraw large amounts of cash from the banks instead of doing electronic transfers and things like that. So there's a lot of robberies that happens over the festive season. There's a lot of a crime that happens, kidnapping of children that are left loitering and unattended at shopping malls. You'll realize that as soon as schools close and tertiary institutions close, children are many a times left on their own at home. And this can become a crime generator on its own, because besides the kidnapping, you find children are very experimental. They will start experimenting with drugs. They can start experimenting with alcohol. And then we find that that causes crime with rapes of especially in Gauteng alone. I think in the past few months, we've had incidents of teenagers where a 16-year-old boy was accused of raping a 15-year-old girl. So you find those are the type of crimes that generally happen over the festive season. And as police, we believe that if people take better care and prioritize their personal safety, it will assist the police.
So now, in terms of like the success, looking back at when the initiative first came last year, just take us through what happened then.
Well, we heightened our visibility at identified crime hotspots like your shopping malls. And towards the time when schools close, police go even into the residential areas just to make sure that there are police around, and to make sure that criminals are not given that opportunity to pounce on or prey on innocent, unsuspecting victims. Because if we take the term going back to basics, there was a time when festive season was a time to be festive and joyous, but now people are worried. People cannot even go on holidays out of fear that their house will be broken into and things like that. So we much as we will be there on the ground to assist, but we also appeal to our communities to also take precautionary measures. When you're leaving home for long periods, make sure that there's someone to take care and watch over your house. And also with, like I indicated earlier on, making sure that children are attended to, children are not left loitering on their own in the streets. And we also find over this time there's a lot of illegal trading of liquor. Our operations, in fact, started on the 1st of September, even though we only launched officially last week, Friday. And since that period, since the 1st of September, we've put behind bars over 1,000 criminals already. And we've also confiscated and seized a number volumes of drugs as well as illegal liquor collected at illegal trading outlets.
Okay, so in terms of like the involvement of the community, how closely do you work with them? Because these crimes are not just happening in isolation by strange people who are not members of a community. How do you work closely with them as SAPS?
We encourage, we have what we call Community Policing Forum, which is actually a bridge between the police and the community, and it's actually a legislated structure, but we find that our communities don't really make use of it, whether it's out of not knowing what the community, what the CPF can do for them. So we encourage them to liaise with the CPF. We also have a sector policing where, you know, sector police are deployed in around the various police stations. So if community members are aware of these people, they go to the police station, get their names and contact details. Then we avoid the situation where people complain that I went to the police station, I wasn't helped, or in fact, we find you're at a scene of crime. You can't go to the police station, but you have a number of the CPF representative in your area, then you can call that person.
You spoke about how shopping centers and like high sort of like dense areas, there's always a lot of illegal activities. But we've seen how South Africans have sort of like lost their trust in relating to the police. What are you doing as Gauteng SAPS in this case to make sure that the communities that you're dealing with gain your confidence?
When the Provincial Commissioner was launching the Safer Festive Season operations in Gauteng last week, one of the things that we realized assisted us greatly last year with how we got to sort of win the fight on crime with the last festive season was that the media partnered with us. And we found that a lot of crime was being reported to the police over that period because we worked with media. They assisted us in communicating safety tips, and where members of the public felt confident to rather go through media, media made sure to contact the police and we could deal with certain crimes. So it is on that same principle that we would require, yes, we know we have a lot of work to do in terms of restoring trust and building the confidence of the community. And like I said about the Community Policing Forum, that's one of the structures which we hope will assist us to do that. But the best we can do, Penny, as the police is just go back to basics, like we said, do the right thing the right way, and then hopefully that will then instill the trust of the community in the police.
What are some of those basics that you're focusing on when you say doing the right thing the right way? What are some of those things?
Things like the turnaround time, you know, when a victim comes to report crime at the police station, how the victim is treated by the person that, the first respondent, And also besides that, once a case has been opened, giving feedback, you know, just showing the victim that you care, and also showing empathy. We've had incidents of rather allegations as well as perceptions where community members feel that when they report certain crimes, they are being ridiculed by our police members. We've looked into that, and the police commissioner has in fact sanctioned internal investigations depending on specific cases that were reported to us. That in the case where police members were found to be on the wrong, disciplinary steps would be taken against them.
So let's say, I mean, we're approaching 16 days of activism. I'm a man, I come in to report a crime, I become ridiculed, or whatever the situation might be. How do I escalate it outside of the police station? What is the process that I can follow?
First and foremost, once you're there at the police station, try and get the name of the officer that you're dealing with. And if you are aggrieved, then it's easier. You can go to either the cluster or even to us at the provincial level to report them. I went to this police station at such and such a time on this date, and this is the kind of treatment that was meted out to me. And then we at provincial level will investigate that departmentally and see what needs to be done.
Okay, how are you, because solving crime is about gathering information in a way, you know, and people being witnesses and, you know, how are you equipping ordinary South Africans to sort of like understand that? Like, I don't know, for example, personally, if I ask someone, okay, there was a white car here, did you see it? A white car, I didn't. Like,
or even
first
a
of
registration
all, or
number.
even a registration. So first of all, that means we're not going to be able to get it. Did you see anything untoward happening here? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, no, I didn't see anything. So nobody knows, nobody saw anything. but something happened, but people have eyes and ears. Is there sort of like something that you do to sort of like educate people about the basics of like, you know, maybe being a witness? If you see something and then somebody might want this information later.
Yes, yes.
Do you guys do something like that?
We are trying. We hope we'll get there one day and soon. We're trying through our corporate communications component, which is where I come from, to educate the public as well, and which is where we rely on media quite a lot, because we always encourage community members to be vigilant. Look out for any suspicious people.
Yeah, because you know when you say that, when they say be vigilant, people are like, what do you mean I must be vigilant? Exactly.
Just
in my vigilance, can I be able to sort of like maybe have information that can help the police? What are the things that I need to look out for?
Look for a person that you know, especially maybe in your neighborhood. I think by a certain point, once you've lived there, you know your neighbors. So if you see this person loitering, you can even ask if they need help. But with the nature of the criminals being so aggressive and dangerous nowadays, we would encourage you to prioritize your safety. But if you see something that's unbecoming, sensitize the police, 10-111, or speak to somebody or community policing forum that this person has been standing in my street for 2 hours. He doesn't look like he's there for any particular reason. We're not feeling comfortable. Can you please help with that?
Okay.
Or even vehicles. You know, you'll find a vehicle driving up and down the street. You don't know whether they're looking for children or what it is that they're looking for. Just sensitize. We don't treat anything as frivolous. Whatever that information that comes to us, we follow up on it. We'll send people from the police station to say, listen, go to this particular place. There's this certain crime. Just check out what's happening. So that's the kind of information that we rely on our community members to send to us.
So I guess that's information that they pass on to CPF if they work closely.
To CPF, to sector police, to the police station itself.
You also spoke about safety tips. So what are those safety tips?
Like I mentioned at the beginning of this interview, that avoid carrying lots and lots of cash unnecessarily. Rather do electronic banking. Make sure you always know where your children are, and teach the children as well that, listen, take care of yourself. If mommy or daddy is at work, make sure all the doors at home are locked and so on. And one of the problematic areas that we find also is that people do not really take care to check if their cars are securely locked, whether at shopping malls or in any parking areas. And they'll also leave their valuables in clear view of criminals. And we're not saying you know, live in fear all your life. But just make sure that you are safe and you don't create that opportunity for criminals.